Hi there, it's Michael André Ford, your American Angel Intuitive. I help people get out of what they know, get out of their version of reality. If they're in a pinch, a pickle, or they're at the top of their game, I help them just check out of the brain, out of thinking, out of conditional reality, out of what they know that precludes possibility, to get to their heart, to be one with the universe with no barriers, so they can interact with unconditional love figures of light, angels, light beings, fairies, one jinn who's East Asian mysticism who's been around forever, your loved ones. You get full on seeing, you get full on hearing, all languages spoken, all dialects. More importantly than that, which you'd think is pretty cool, Swahili, Tahitian, French, Hindi, Telugu, Japanese. You speak all of them. You can get answers a little bit in each language, or you can hear the same answer in each language. It's up to you. Again, the dialects. But angels, you have no privacy. You're not getting judged. Angels just know how to say everything to navigate your personal value system. So you need to hear it a certain way to be on cloud nine, to be super excited. And angels know how to deliver the message just the right way. So you're fired up. That's kind of cool. And the more you think about that, or the more you allow for that, the more you should be blown away by that. That alone is pretty cool. You get full on seeing, and this is a group thing too. Group seeing, group feeling, group hearing. This is something that 99% of the communities out there have yet to embrace. You could be the biggest podcast show host who used to do this, top of your game. You just happen to be unhappy right now, and you'll reject it. That's okay. You could be the top yoga expert. You could be the top Watkins 100 person in the UK selling 1 million books, totally intellectual, and again, top of your game. And this year and next year, you'll reject it. But maybe in 2027, you'll allow for it and get to hang out with Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Mary, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, Ganesh. It's up to you. What will you allow for in any given moment? No one can tell you a thing. You know that. No one can jump into your brain either and force you to get out of here to get to here. This is generally thinking, rejecting, fear, stress, worry, knowledge to the preclusion of possibility, where most of science is at. Imagine what happens when science starts listening to the universe. Anybody who's into astrophysicist stuff, faraway galaxies, astronomy. Is there life in the universe? That's a wild one. They should want to like hang with Einstein or talk to a light being. You can have any answers to any questions. Imagine what happens the first astrophysicist who takes this seriously. Instead, they're chasing after government agencies and this and that and trying to do this and that at a human level, which is fine. Keep doing what you're doing. I say, however you think you're spending your energy now is how you're spending your energy now. The name of the game is to figure out what the difference is between the hot, glowing red stove, that iron, you don't put your hand on a hot stove, it gets burned. You figured it out when you were 5, 10. At some point, you touch something hot and you're like, ooh, bad idea. Maybe not do that as much. When you're here, you're at peace. There's intercom. You've just got a natural intuition. You've got an ability to be one with everything. So it's called awareness. It's called unconditional love. It's called being, to be or not to be. Not even a question. As soon as you figure out this, you're off to the races. You can chat with angels, chat with loving guides, Native American chiefs, figures from India, Einstein, Mandela, it goes on and on and on. And you can figure out your unique life path. You need help getting back on your unique life path or discovering what it is, just ask. Angels are here to give you any action steps that you need. They can alter your path. There's healing to be had. Colorblind people have seen colors. I always warm folks up with blowing some sage through 2 screens. You can see that in any of my shows on the Angels Positivity and Love show on YouTube. I also show people their light. You can call it consciousness, auras, chakras. The fabric of the universe is love itself. So call it universal love or universal light. This is a lot for people to grasp again, but what's cool is it's really simple. And if you had 15 minutes free, grab me. Again, see your energy, smell some sage, get some answers from some angels, get hugs. The hugs can become healing. And then, baby steps for seeing. The brain has this sort of ontological reaction, this shock sometimes, where we all just roll a certain way. We know life is a certain way. We think it's hard. We think it's this way. We think it's that way. We're just accustomed to not being here anymore. We did too much adulting. And all this is about is returning to a more peaceful life, allowing more, loving more, let everybody get their experience that they're already getting now in their life. So this isn't about control. This isn't telling how people how to roll. This isn't telling people which political party to go for or how to live your life when it comes to energy or this stuff, your appliances and everything else. This isn't about the climate. In my opinion, it's not up to humans to fix anything. There's far greater intelligence going on, loving us, supporting us, looking out for us. We're protected if you could trust for that. Your opportunity here in this lifetime, which you may not accept like Mission Impossible, maybe 2 lifetimes from now, is simply to allow more, love more, share more love elsewhere. You have a unique life path. What is it? It's not about controlling others. It's about you doing you, Scotty P, to quote from the Millers. I want to give a couple quotes though. Eckhart Tolle had a great one. Ego implies unawareness. Awareness and ego cannot coexist. Ego, the psyche, what you know, rigidity, knowing to the preclusion of possibility, which is like 85, 92% of all knowing that humankind does. That's this stuff. And awareness is unconditional love. It's the shininess. It's the openness. It's the gateless gate, the doorless door. If you want to do the Zen Buddhist thing, Joe Shu is here. You just have to get to here, and you're intersecting with all the dimensions that are positive, happy, shiny, and loving dimensions. Heaven on earth, whatever you want to call it. Everyone has a fantastic intuitive skill set. You're using it at some level, whether you just do it for the groceries and how to pick the best item. You're an architect and you just know how to deliver the design that the client wanted. You just related to them well enough in an abstract way. How you do your directions, car finding on the athletic field, the way you kick a soccer ball and score a goal every time. Art, music, science, everyone is using it. Just like seeing light, there's light in everything. Everything is light is another one of my quotes. Everything is made of light. There's light on everything. And the second you want to slow down and actually see it on a tree, see it on your hands. I help people see their energy. In India, they do it this way. Celestine prophecy, they do it this way. But you can just see light here. 2 people can see their light, their consciousness, as Joseph Campbell talks about in The Power Myth with Bill Moyers. You can meet Joe. You can see the light flowing between people. In fact, you could get a symphony of light from angels and light beings for your next book. You don't even have to stick to words. Words are extremely limiting. And if you've ever noticed, any sentence you utter, there can be the sentence that you utter one way, the exact same sentence, but when you say it from the heart, it has one version or meaning. But when you say it from the brain, it has a totally different meaning. That's the duality, if I got it right. Non-duality, just be in your heart. Everything is easier, shinier, simpler. You can walk a smoother path. You can get to where you're going, but I'll still argue that it's the journey and each step is what counts. All moments can be the same. How about that? Time's a construct of the mind. Past and future aren't quite what you think it is. The more love you do right now, the more you can bleed into the past, bleed into the future, the more you can break through to your concurrent past lives. Threw out a lot there. Talk to angels about this, talk to a light being about this, let them explain it to you. Here's another quote, might be from Dan Millman. It sounds like him, but I don't know that it is. There are no ordinary moments. Every task, interaction, and decision is infused with sacred potential waiting to be revealed. I love that. Why worry about all the details? There's so many cultural groups, religious groups, philosophical groups, Stoicism, the Plato group. You can meet Plato. You can meet Marcus Aurelius. You can meet Seneca. Why not just meet them and walk with them? You can walk with these figures in human form or in physical form or in kind of the Obi-Wan Kenobi 1977 Star Wars form where he's been cut down and comes back as a glowing image. It's whatever you'll allow for. If you just want to be able to hear and walk by yourself in the park, that's fine. You need to have gone around the block in life where you don't take yourself so seriously, take your past experiences so seriously. If you're walking around as a Watkins 100 person telling people you're enlightened, you're probably not going to be able to do this, even though you're enlightened. All I know is enlightened means you're probably stuck. Learning, expansion, growth never stop for us while we're still breathing. On your last breath, you'll get a little ding and a reminder what the score was. No one's keeping score, but you'll simply get a reconciliation and a chance to kind of review your decision making. Every moment is a decision or a version of allowing. What did you allow for? More love, more unconsciousness, more unlove. Most of your details are unlove. Let go as much as you can. Keep letting go, no matter how much of a jam you're in, no matter what sort of pickle, bind, or pinch you're in. Most of it's just details. The further you can get away from it, or take proper steps to remove yourself from the situation or to move on, the greater the shift in consciousness or unconsciousness will be down to consciousness, so you can get going with your life and breathe easier. I hope that made sense. So angels are here to help. You just have to allow for this. You have to ask and receive. And that's it. Whether we're talking healing, answers, guidance, help with your career, help with more love in your life, help with finding out what love is. You knew it as a kid, but there's a point where we did too much adulting. We took something too serious. We reacted to a car accident, a death in the family. Trauma happens, but that allows the mind to pull the clipboard out, to seize control, like seizing control of the cruise ship. And that cruise ship is no longer fun. The programming is no good. The food's bad. You're stuck in your cabin all day. You're pretty much spinning. And that can happen for two folks for 20 to 50 years at a pop, for an entire lifetime, for a year or two, for a month or two. So the question here is, what will you allow for? Can you allow for a little bit of light in, a little bit of room, a little bit of assistance? Again, that's what these figures are here to do. Check out my show, Angels, Positivity, and Love. Guests take steps, baby steps for the most part, on air. They'll put their hand up to an angel photo. There are photos of angels, Plato, a few fairies, and so on. Historical photos, which we know a photo that's historical should not be able to move. Photos are static, one-dimensional, but not true at all. Photos will wink, smile, the eyebrow will go up, shoulder waggle. Again, what will you allow for? I'll blow some sage smoke, and guests won't just catch sage. Lorna Byrne, the Irish angel mystic in Ireland. I was in Texas. I was blowing sage. She did not smell the sage. She smelled daisies and roses live on air. You can check that out. You can smell sage. You might, if you just ask and allow, you can smell the daisies and roses. What will you allow for? That's all that matters. Ditch everything I've said right now, but I'm trying to say, if there are no limits in life, maybe there are really no limits. You knew it as a kid. You knew it at one point when you were on the soccer field kicking your 5th goal in a row. Granted, it was 3rd grade and the other team looked really lousy, but you still had a lot of fun. You were laughing, giggling, you were in your element. That's all this is about, is being your element again. Catch a little bit of sage. My one rule or bit of structure is ask angels to help you out. You don't have to do a thing. All humans do is up here. We think we need to fix and control everything and everyone. And that's the opposite of what life and the universe is about. It's the opposite way that everything is oriented. So the sooner you allow and figure this out, the sooner you're going to have a lot more fun and success in life, the true success. So ask angels to get you out of your head, into your heart, and to make it nice. Amen, rock and roll. Thank you. You're from India, Om Sai Ram, whatever works for you. It's got to be your setting of your intent. Learn how to do that. Leave your eyes on the sage smoke, catch a little bit of sage smoke wherever you're at. And that's a linear transaction. Call it plant medicine, call it angels bringing it to you, call it universal light flowing through. You want to see a ball of light up here, go by, do it. Ask for Joy the angel to come in, or Archangel Michael, and to fly by, or through 2 screens. Put your hand out if you're really gutsy, look down, see an angel in your hand. But why not just settle for asking angels to bring you a flower smell on top of the sage? That's right. You're from the Pacific originally, a Pacific island. There's a flower that you haven't smelled in 20 years. Ask for it. Or Rosa rugosa if you're from the East Coast, Nantucket, and you miss that particular smell. Daisies, flowers, wisteria, lavender. Ask for what you can ask for. So here's the rub. What will you allow for? What will you ask for? We're not used to being in that mode. We're used to walking around with limits and saying, my problem is, my situation is, my drama is, you don't understand. We're used to putting ourselves in shackles. Plato's cave, talk to him. He's so fantastic for describing where you're at in life. Anytime a human wants to get going, learning and expanding more and allowing more, they can. So you, again, could be the top Stanford astrophysicist, physicist, doctor, and you've got all the learning in the world still to do, like the rest of us. Just because you've got 6 degrees $6 million in revenue a month doesn't mean you're any further ahead in the game. It's your joy, heart, love factor. How much are you shining? How much are you sparkling? How much are you assisting others in your love and support for all? Look at Mother Teresa. I always meet like 1 out of 10 people. I mention Mother Teresa and they start just bam. They jump on her as a horrible person. That's fine. But wait till you get to the other side. I'm sure there's people who have said stuff about you. She's reconciled if a person needs to hear it that way. She's unconditional love. And she has a bunch of the best quotes in the world. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. What are you practicing daily? Are you here or are you up here? When you slap a label and say how you think it is for a reality about someone else, are you loving them or are you judging them? What is the difference between a hot stove thinking, knowing, the type of knowing that precludes the actual possibility in reality in the broader universe? There's no right or wrong. There's proper understanding. Everything is love, love, love. Love is all there is. Think of a Beatles song. Think of all those people who have been to the other side and come back and said love is really important. Practicing love is a really tough, I was about to curse. It's a really tough thing to be here. You're vulnerable. You're going to have to embrace people that you completely disagree with. Oh my God. But that's more consciousness. It's how mankind's going to grow. There's a spiritual awakening, if you want to call that, that's here and now. You can see light flowing, consciousness between people, universal light, auras, chakras. You can see that on dogs. You can see it in your hand. You can bring that light into you. You can get your next book that way. You can get a symphony of light. Go beyond words. I love how limiting words are. Again, think of one particular sentence. If you say it one way with a certain inflection and you're up here, it's unawareness, not negativity, but it's just a lower vibration. If you say the exact same sentence, the exact same phraseology, the exact same words, but from the heart and you're sparkling and shining in love, that has a completely different impact and meaning and ripple in the world. That's non-duality, duality. You have to figure out what this is all about. You have to figure out how to flow more love. You're not on your own at all. I'm just here to say the universe is far bigger than the spirituality, health, wellness, holistic, spas, the institutes, the famous institutes. Half of them are, Findhorn's gone under. Another one's having major difficulties. Another one's been on the rocks off and on for 15 years now. Nobody owns the space of the universe. The UAP UFO crowd, I don't see anyone offering to actually introduce you to a light being. If angels are like dolphins and they're from really far out, they would count just as much as, I'm not going to say alien existence, because most of what these people are searching for from the Pentagon and elsewhere is mortal beings who are less than unconditional love. Now, some are unconditional love as well and just here to help. But what I'm talking about is the NFL. If we were talking about kindergarten or 4th grade or junior high or middle school, flag football, touch football, that's what human pursuit is right now, seeking and chasing and trying to get this done and that done and disclosure and all the rest. I'm not knocking it. Absolutely the most important thing from a societal level. But I'm talking at a universal level in love. Who would you want to go out to dinner with? Who would you want to have take you out for a bite? Less than nice, not unconditional love, where when they take you out for a bite, you might not be coming back. Just kidding here, but not. You would want unconditional love. You would want beings of light that can, like out of Star Trek, they're the Captain Kirks and the Spocks looking out for us with a prime directive of no interference unless you ask for it. So mankind has signed up for growth, expansion, more peace, walking a smoother path, less war, less conflict, more understanding. It's coming. It's here already. You can see light. You can get any answers to any questions. What more can I say? Imagine what happens for the scientific community if they start actually listening. Imagine what happens to the consciousness researchers who have been spending, God knows how many millions and billions of dollars doing studies. The mindfulness crowd. Pick any of those 50 to 1,000 to 2,000 communities. The Buddhist community can meet Buddha, Kuan Yin, Chogyam Trungpa, Thich Nhat Hanh, and walk with him, her, and get their answers and feel more at peace. There's healing to be had. Mankind's ready to get going. Mankind just has to realize it ain't about the structure, the thinking, the organizations as we currently know them. It doesn't mean that any of them can't do this in a heartbeat and start getting with the universal program. It just requires a little less seriousness, a little less exclusion, or knowing that precludes possibility. I don't know what else to call it. It's being in the moment. It's all the Eckhart Tolle stuff. It's all the Dan Millman stuff from Peaceful Warrior. It's fun to do. There's tons of humor. I don't know. It's exciting. So it's a lot to take in. You're good where you are. This might sound contradictory, even if you're in the middle of a pinch, a pickle, a bind, a drama situation. You're always good where you are right this second. There's no contradictions here either. So I'll do it a different way. Yoda always says, no try. Do not. There is no try. Okay, that's Yoda. And Archangel Gabriel says, always try. And they're not contradicting each other. This isn't about words. This is about flows. This is about vibrational levels. You are off the charts in vibration, whether you know it or not. Most of the time, you don't know it. Half your day, 50 times in a day, 200 times in a day. And if you could start cultivating an appreciation for that, then you simply are resting in your heart more at a high vibe. That's the secret of it all. That's why mindfulness, meditation techniques, sports, athletics, nature gets you there. And you start to realize, ooh, I should do a little more of this. Angels have said 7% less thinking a day, a week, a month. It's all the same. A little more letting go is the Olympic gold medal for all of us. So here's the rub. You got something up in the brain that says, I can't. Or you look at James Van Praagh or Tyler Henry, Hollywood Medium, or someone else who's famous out there talking to you, Eckhart Tolle. You actually have more ability, all of you. Every single human being with a beating heart has more ability than what we're seeing currently from the whole crop of spiritual healers, experts, and so on out there, even if they've been doing it for 50 years. Now, keep, again, reading their books, going to their seminars, appreciating them. There's a million pathways. There's a million ways to go through the world and into a broader reality. It's called the heart, the gateless gate, the doorless door, and into greater depths of love. I don't know what else to call it. Just ask angels to help you out. Learn to allow more. Put your requests out. If you could borrow somebody's catcher's mitt, that's all you have to do is put your catcher's mitt up. Don't worry about the rest of the details. Let the universe deliver. Learn how to just be here more often. There's a million ways into this. There's 20 billion ways to reject this and to be up here. Take a breath, smile, relax, sing, make a pot of soup, pot of coffee, walk your dog, but enjoy it. See the bubbles, hear it. Satori, samadhi, you name it. Being in the moment, slowing down, appreciating more, allowing more, giving thanks. What will you allow for is what this is all about. Most of us are locked into just such tightness up here. Try to just slow down once in a while. Take a nap. I've got a Listening to Angels book that is written by angels. If anyone thinks I wrote this, thank you. Thank you very much. There's no way I wrote this. There's an epilogue by an angel named Dale who coached an Olympic athlete who won a lot of golds that people would know. There's photos of angels. The photos will move, change color. Charlotte's blue ball of light was pulsing for 2 or 3 different people in the last 3 weeks. If you like ancient Egypt, you can close your eyes and hang out in ancient Egypt. 5 minutes of our time is 10 minutes over there. If you like Tibet, same thing. If you like Hawaii, same thing. India, Middle East. It's a long story, but that is such a great way to interact. You go beyond words, you sit still. It's kind of meditation, mindfulness. It's kind of a lucid dream, kind of not. It's dream time at the Aboriginal level, sure. You can walk the Akashic records. You can be shown your trajectory. You can have a sit down about your current life stage. You can get mapped out the steps you need to take, who you need to call. Business people are my favorite. They're fantastic spiritual community. They just know how to listen and they know what they want for answers. They know how to ask questions. They know how to operate one of these. How fast can you write I think it was 49 pages of answers in 9 hours is the record from an Australian. That's another thing. Australian, New Zealanders, or Kiwis, Canadians, people from India are super good at this. Americans, not trying to judge. I mean, any given person on any given day, spin that twister dial or wheel, If it comes up blue, you're all set. I think it just is when you kind of have, it's catching a person on any given day of the week. The person on Monday who did it really well could be shut tight like an oyster the next day on Tuesday, but be wide open again on Thursday. So give yourself a break in all this. There's nothing to actually learn. It's really letting go of what you know to return to your center. You've got all the skills in the world to do this. This is full on seeing. Angels can show up in human form and open up the coffee shop door for you with sparkly eyes. There's all sorts of stuff they can do that will just, leave your jaw dropping and you'll be in a little bit of shock. So I don't know what else to tell you except depending on your cultural background, if you're from a Native American community, get it that way, have it your way, but try to also maybe meet a few figures from India, a few other figures, a few angels, a light being. They all tend to show up. If you go to the Middle East setting, it'll be some of everything plus your relatives. Your relatives are already always parked a little further back so you don't get too distracted by that. So you can actually have a ceremony of some sort or interact directly with your unconditional love cheerleading crowd. But plenty of guests on my shows, some really high profile guests, super fortunate. We're the ones that have the angels. It's a small show with a really big footprint guest, amazing guests from all around the world, amazing insights, a Berlin ballerina superstar, now retired, actors, actresses, best-selling authors, psychoanalysts, Jungian therapists, psychologists, doctors. We have the physician to the president, 1994 to 2001. That was President Clinton and some other presidents, I think. The White House doctor, highest position in the land for the most distinguished, medical position, MD, FACP, retired as a rear admiral in the U.S. Navy. Wonderful person, incredible energy coming up on January 28th. Check her out. But guests before and after the show to get to take a lot of steps. And then on the show, they take some baby steps too. So it's a super personal experience. This isn't about proving anything on the show. It's really about hearing how each person is taking on the task of life. Are they living their life? How are they living their life? What have they learned that they can pass on to all of us to remind us not to take anything, ourselves or anyone else, too seriously, and to get moving with living, loving more, and allowing more. That's the big message. Hey, dogs have guardian angels. You can meet those. Cats have guardian angels. You can hear cats and dogs. If you love animals, you can hear them talk. Trees, you can hear most of them talk, not every single one. You would not believe how big this is. Everything and everyone is made out of light. You just get to connect more, appreciate more, allow more. Again, what will you allow for is the rub. You could be a really serious person who's a famous show host, book author, spiritual expert on this front, and you'd never allow for any of this. You'll wave your hand and be like, it's a bunch of nonsense. That's okay. And then 2 years later, you're in the middle of, either an illness or a crunch, or you've decided, hey, I need to change things up. I'm really unhappy. I want to be happy again and flowing. You never know. Don't judge anyone or anything. Everything is constantly changing. There's always room, like Scrooge in Christmas Carol, to go like this and do a 180 and be the happiest, shiniest, most joy-bringing person ever. This is about basic listening, basic feeling, basic sensing, smelling, basic seeing, full-on seeing. It's the Zen thing. Seeing without seeing, hearing without hearing, feeling without feeling. You're one with the universe, so it just happens. And that's where, think about the caliber of the unconditional love figures out there. Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, Ganesh, Mother Teresa, Lakshmi, Chogyam Trungpa, Einstein. It goes on and on, plus a bajillion angels. You have no privacy. They know exactly every move you've ever made, all your details, where you're headed in life. They can help you out with the most loving, carefully worded advice. You need something altered in life. That's possible. Some stuff's written, other stuff is not. It's about allowing, asking, and receiving. What will you allow for? I'll do those quotes one more time. Eckhart Tolle said, ego implies unawareness. Awareness and ego cannot coexist. Someone said there are no ordinary moments. Every task, interaction, and decision is infused with sacred potential waiting to be revealed. You just have to pay attention, slow down. As you go to make those pancakes, enjoy the act of pouring the batter and doing it a certain way, the way you're whisking it. This is Michael André Ford in San Antonio, Texas. Just a reminder that everything is bigger than we'll ever realize. So allow for more, love more, when you can remember to remember, if you can remember to remember. And even that is not original. Songyal Rinpoche or Rinpoche. I don't know how to pronounce anything, people's names, all the sacred terms, all the different cultural stuff. So I'm not going to get an A+ on that, but I get an A for effort. Songyal Rinpoche taught his students for 35 years the expression, remember to remember. What? It's up to you. I can give you a hint. It's here. It's shiny. It's infinite. If it's about details and your situation, my problem is, my situation is, you'll never understand. I'm stuck. Let it go. Keep letting go. The ego wants to make walls. Every thought is generally a brick, but not all thoughts. If you're down in your heart, your thoughts are then creative. Thinking is not. Don't make thinking the enemy. But most of thinking is a waste of energy in and of itself. And until you figure it out, only you can figure out any of this stuff. Until you figure it out, that's it. It's going to sound like a bunch of words from a guy, who's hopefully shiny and happy and trying to encourage you here. What will you allow for? Again, allow for a little more love. Have fun with this. There's an old Joshu Zen master kind of series of quotes that are fun. A student comes running up to a teacher and says, "Teacher, what about it when I seek to be the Buddha?" And the teacher says, "What a tremendous waste of energy. What a tremendous waste of energy that would be." And then the student says, trying to do a comeback, "Well, what if I don't waste any energy?" And the teacher says, "Then you are Buddha." I love that. Can you pay attention more? If you're into the whole climate thing, why would you want to waste energy being up here when you could be love, allowing more, and showing love and appreciation to others to support them on their journey? This is Michael André Ford in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for your patience. Check out that book, Listening to Angels. It's $7.99 on Amazon. Hit my website up, michaelandreford.com. I've got coffee mugs now, an 11-ounce one on the YouTube channel that people have loved, more reasonable size. And then on my website from a different company, I think that one's Printful, that's a 20-ounce mug. I happen to love the ginormous old Starbucks mugs for tea and for coffee. The 20-ounce one is on my website. The 11-ounce one is on YouTube. Grab those. Check out my services at the website. Tremendous videos, 50 episodes of the Angels, Positivity, and Love show in 2023. We're booked almost into December of 2024 already, and it's still January of 2024. So that's like 95, 96 episodes or more into the first week of December. Just about every guest takes steps on the show. I think I've had one guest that only caught a little bit of sage, and that was it. I just got really shy with that person. They're really famous. So they may be back on the show, so we'll see what happens. Again, the point of the show is not to prove anything. You've got as much skill on every and any front as anyone else. Just allow for it. And my last bit of advice is put it to the universe just before you go to bed. They're like, "Hey, universe, maybe angels exist. Maybe I've got great skills. I'm a healer with my hands. You can activate those like that. Just ask angels to get in there, kind of rewire you a little bit so you're allowing for it. You got to believe a little bit. Just learn to start allowing more and asking more and put it one way out to the universe. It's how you already roll in everything, especially in the negative way or the unloved way. You're putting it out to the universe all the time when you label and judge and fear and worry and react and reject and so on. That's how you just roll naturally. And once in a while, you're here allowing for love and appreciating. That's every single one of us as human beings go. But if you can cultivate a practice of actually allowing a little bit more, we're talking just 5 or 7% more of that and being here, watch how when you just walk down the street, complete strangers are waving hi, wishing you well, coming from across the street to introduce themselves. You'd be surprised what will happen if you'll just begin a practice of allowing more and loving more. Okay, signing off now. Have a great January. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the book. I've got angel photos at the website. I think those are $3 a piece. Pick one up. Stick Joy, the pink ball of light, on your iPhone and see what happens. She'll move, change colors. It's a question of what you'll allow for. Leave your eyes on her, ask a question, listen for 1 second. It's your own voice. What do you think half your intuition's been this whole time? The good half. But the second you really, really let go and get to your heart the whole way, let her do her job, you'll hear a high, peppy 28-year-old voice giving you an answer. It's like whatever you used to do as a kid. You had to learn how to swim. You were scared to death of the water at first. You didn't like the coach or the teacher. You swallowed some water, and today you're a professional swimmer, or at least you know how to swim a couple different strokes, and you used to compete on the high school team or something. Think of it as, you didn't know how to drive a car, now you know how to drive a car, and it's boring. It's the same thing for all of this. Whatever you think some famous psychic or healer is doing out there, you're fully capable of. Trust me on this. Let angels show you how. All you have to do is pay attention, ask, and listen. Check out my website. Check out the show. Enjoy. Thank you very much.